Welcome to this video, Launching New Music, Lesson 7, Announcing Your Music. Now it's time to tell the world about your new music. You definitely want to start scheduling social media posts 1 to 2 times per day. I use the free Meta Business Builder, as I mentioned before, because I only focus on Facebook and Instagram. However, you can also use other scheduling apps if you use Twitter. And I think TikTok doesn't have any apps that I'm aware of, but if there are, you can use whatever that app is. So let me just show you how to use Meta Business Builder real quick. So here I am at the Meta Business Builder, and you can actually see over here on the left side, if I hover over it, it'll say Planner. That's what I'm talking about here. You're going to be scheduling out your content. So if you want to post something right now, you just hit Create. If you want to schedule something for later, you can click on a different day and click Schedule. If you want to schedule something later in the day, you would actually click Create and then Create Post or whatever. And as far as creating reels, you can't schedule those out. You can only create them right now. So if you wanted to create a reel in this, you could do that. I highly encourage you just to do reels on Instagram, though, because they don't get as much reach if you create them in here. And then just go ahead and create the post, and you can actually change the scheduling if you want here as well. So it'll say, to publish your post, blah, 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 put something in here, right? So let's just add a video. So now I've actually just uploaded a video here. It's not even probably going to show a preview. It doesn't really matter. It's just a tutorial of how to use one of our string winders. So you can just hit play, and it'll show you how to, adjust your strings and tighten them and restring your guitar or whatever. But basically I would just type in some text, blah, 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 blah. I can put some @ symbols here of like whoever you want and tag people. But, you'll fill that out just like regular. You can obviously put hashtags in there. So hashtag whatever you're talking about. And what you can do instead of just hitting publish here is you can actually hit schedule. So if you want to change the times, you can actually schedule them for different times between Facebook and Instagram. I usually do them at the same time just so that way there's no difference between the audience. So I can do this 3 hours in the future. So instead of 2:38 today, it'll be 5:38 today. And I can hit save. And that would actually post. I'm not going to post this because it's pretty much an old video that's already been posted about. I don't really need to post it again. But that's what you would do. And then what would happen and when you actually schedule that post is it would just show up in your timeline just like this. And you can do that for days and days and days, right? So you can schedule things out multiple days, multiple weeks in advance. And usually when I have my podcast going, I do that. I schedule 2 to 3 weeks out. So like I never have to worry about what's going to come up that day. It's already scheduled out. Another thing you have to think about is you also need to expand your reach to new audiences that do not follow you. So it's great to have a social media following and to announce stuff to them, but you also need to expand your reach as well. So this includes press, bloggers, influencers, and more. You need to do 2 things first. Create a press release and create an EPK. We already talked about the EPK, so let's talk about the press release. So why do you need an EPK and a press release? I can tell you firsthand it is absolutely burdensome to try to dig up information on bands with little to no online presence and or recognition. You have no idea how much time I've spent trying to figure out who's in a band, where they're from, what kind of music they would generally consider themselves, all that stuff. If there's nothing out there, you have to create something for yourself and share that with media. If you just give the information up front, it is way easier to create articles and social media posts about you from our perspective, from these journalists and music entities, right? If you want an album review, make sure to include lyric sheets for a better review. Publications will likely ignore you if there isn't a professional manner to your submission and if you don't include both an EPK or at least a press release with the information that an EPK would have. Some of you might think, why do I need to make them? Or, well, I'm not going to do that. If you believe you are too good to put out these assets, then don't be mad if no one pays any attention to you. Just having great music doesn't mean you're going to have great following. The only way you get more exposure is by putting yourself out there. So what is a press release? Essentially, this is just a 1-page document or email template that will announce your new music as it comes out to members of the press, tastemakers, and other influencers who might like to get the scoop, quote unquote, on new music from musicians. They are written out like an article for a newspaper. It includes, and this might look familiar because it's a lot of stuff from the EPK, announcement of music's release date, name of musician, band, track, album, links to private streaming of new release before it is available to public, explanation of recording process or creation of songs, brief bio with band members named and instruments played. You can also link directly to your EPK there too. A high-resolution photo of the band, a high-res image of cover art for the new music, a quote from you and or your band about the music, link to the music video or videos, any notable press quotes or reviews, any tour information. If you make things easy on the press members by having professional assets like an EPK and press release, they can almost literally copy and paste your information into their site. If you do Google searches of new music releases, most sites do just that. Literally, you can go and look, and they all say almost the exact same thing. They might put a little paragraph up front that kind of differentiates them between every other site, but they will take what you've just said and paste it directly into their site. As an indie artist, you have to treat your career professionally, and this is part of that process. So let's take some action. Create your press release either using the template below this video or by creating your own. You can also get your press release created for a small fee with the link below. When you get to your launch, you will send the press release and the EPK to members of the press, bloggers, tastemakers, etc. And when you are ready, schedule out all your new music announcements on social media so they are ready to go for the launch.